Well, good morning, everybody. This is Carpo from my Carpo's Cavern back here. I woke up this morning and I had too many thoughts on my mind. I woke up at like 6 and it was time to get up, you know. And the rest of the family's still asleep. It's barely 7. I've got my cup of coffee and I'm out here to make videos. it's, uh, it's my best way. This is my therapy, okay? If I wake up in the morning, I go to therapy by talking to the camera. So, yes, we all need therapy, damn straight. Some more than others. This morning I was going to talk about like experiences and things in our life that happen because I thought about something when I was like 19. And I went to... It's a place called, well, it's a place in Idaho. Idaho's in the U.S. for those who don't live here. It's called Sun Valley. It's a ski resort. Okay, it's a yuppie ski resort, if you will. Of course, every ski resort has its, punks and kids too. The funny thing about this place is most of the punks and kids were people that worked there. My brother went to work there when he was, I think, 16. And I was 19 at the time, and he went to work on the ski lifts up there with his friends because he was into snowboarding. And he called me, and he's like, "Josh, dude, you gotta get out here. This place is awesome. You can snowboard on your days off. Everything's awesome." And I remember at 19, I had a little bit of money. I think I was working at a pizza joint or something, but I think I had quit since then. And I said, okay, well, I got a few bucks together. I grabbed a Greyhound ticket and I headed out there. Well, these are the kinds of things we do as kids. When we're young, we take more risks. We're willing to just pack it all up and go. And I think that's awesome. I think that that's one of the benefits of being a kid. While those of older generations may think that it's an instability and say, well, one day you'll settle down. Now, settling down is only good once you've had your fun. Not always, but I would say that you need to do a little bit of traveling and exploring, at least in your own mind, before you settle down to a life, if you want to call it a life, working as society sees it. But that memory of going out there, I remember because I got there and I was going to work at the gas station. That's what it was, because I was working at a gas station here at the time. And they needed a full-time attendant there. And Oregon's one of the last states where you can't pump your own gas. So a gas attendant out there pumps all the gas for all the cars, so you become quite good at it. And not that it's very hard to pump gas, but what I mean is that, if you're working in a state that has that, where you've been at a gas station for a long time and you're actually doing the work, then going to a full-service station in another state is no big deal. So I got there and I was all excited. First thing they wanted was a drug test, and I refused to take it. Now, it wasn't too much longer until my brother refused to take one too, I guess, and I think he got kicked out too. But I never got the job. I ended up just going snowboarding, hanging out with my brother, chilling for a week, and then I was staying with him in his little dorm. Actually, see, all the memories just start to flow once you talk about it, and this is why I do this. Remember, we went in... I went to stay in his dorm, and they found out I was staying there, and they kicked him out too. That's what it was. They kicked us both out because I refused the drug test or whatever, and that I was staying with him and wasn't supposed to. And I remember one day we were like, screw it, let's just go grab a six-pack and go out and go to the mountain. It was a Sunday, and we went into the little market, and all the beer coolers were locked, the padlocks. We're like, what's up? And they're like, oh, well, we can't sell beer on Sunday. It's still a dry state on Sunday. I was just like, wow, wow. To me, it's shocking that the government can make a decision to, just because a large portion of the population is Christian, to say Sunday is a dry day. The funniest thing is that the Sabbath is Saturday anyway, so I never understood that, but... Anyway, that was just one of those experiences, of traveling somewhere and checking something new out. Before that, and what got me inspired to do things like that. That was nothing because my buddies we got together and we were going to go to a concert, the Grateful Dead in Eugene in 1993 or 4. I think it was 93, or no, it was 92 or 3. Anyway, we didn't have a ride. Nobody had a car. We were all like 15. So we decided we're going to hop the train to Eugene from Portland. Now, Eugene's about, 120 miles or something from Portland? Like, I don't know, something like that. Maybe 100 miles. It's a long way to hop a train. We were stupid. We didn't even know where the trains went. We just heard that if you catch these trains, they take you to Eugene. I haven't really thought about this since then, but we were so lucky because we caught the train near Portland in Lake Oswego, and then we rode it all the way up to the freeway where it stopped, backed up, detached all its cars, and took off. So there we all are, sitting on top of a train car with a half gallon of Jack Daniels, a bunch of weed, and our backpacks and everything, and the train just stops and dumps us. So we get off the train, and we're about a quarter mile from the freeway, Interstate 5. And looking back, thank God we were, because that train could have taken us to the middle of nowhere. I mean, nowhere. So we got out onto the freeway in groups of two groups of, what was it, I think 3 people each, because there was like 6 of us. And so the first group takes off, and then we waited and split up, and then the second group left like 20 minutes later or whatever. And I remember when we were the second group, and when we got picked up, we went a couple miles and didn't see them, so we assumed they got picked up too. And sure enough, we're driving down the freeway and we see them in the car next to us, and we're like, hey! And so we point to the side and have everybody drop us off in this little town. I don't even know where it is. It's halfway to Eugene. I think it might have been Silverton or something like that. But the cops there didn't like us. There's 6 people walking down with tie-dyes and backpacks, and I remember the cops stopped us once and asked us what we were doing. We told them, and they said, well, it's past curfew. We don't want to see you guys out here again, or we'll arrest you. So we ended up having to go duck into this little park area, and then we ran into some other people that gave us a ride. And one of the most amazing experiences of that whole time was we're standing in line waiting for the bus that goes to so my mistake. The Grateful Dead hitchhiking was a different trip. This was hitchhiking to the country fair in Eugene. And because when we were standing in line, there was about, 500 people in line around like 2 blocks waiting for this shuttle that goes out to the fair. And this car drives along. The line goes through a parking lot, kind of on the edge, and this car's driving along, and he's just driving along really slow like he's leaving, and then he's like kind of looking at the line of people, and he stops right in front of us. He looks right at us, and he goes, you guys going to the fair? And we're like, yeah. He's like, hop in. I remember talking to the guy, I'm like, I can't believe you picked us up out of all those people. He's just like, something said to pick you guys up. So that's my life. That's the weird things that happen to me. These weird little moments where everything just kind of comes together. I just realized how fortunate I've been, I guess just my friend and I decided back in 1997 that the world was going to come to an end. There was going to be some major destruction of society, and that we needed to buy land in Montana so we could have a place away from the chaos. So in 97 we actually drove out to Montana, borrowed my mom's car, and our main point was to scout for land, to scout for a place to live, to see how much places cost. And thinking back on that now, I've learned so much since then that I would have been such a fool to go to a place like Montana, a place where it's cold and bitter, and where the Missoula floods have just devastated the topsoil, so it's really hard to grow much there. A lot of the farmland is just, very difficult to work with. A lot of ranchers out there, but That's the point, is that you got to do a little research before you go out and buy land.